Hi, grade 11s and 12s. Guys, at this hour, I want us to go and look at the nature of roots. Nature of roots, guys. I've received so many calls about the topic as a whole. It seemed like learners get so confused on how to tackle the questions on this topic, nature of roots, alright? So I want us to go and look at what is it that it's inside the inside of nature of roots. So please come and pay so much attention as we're going to work some something under the topic. Okay. Right. Okay. I said we're going to talk about nature of roots. Let me write here. We're going to talk about nature. Going to talk about nature of roots. So guys, nature of roots, this is where we'll be talking about delta. We'll be talking about discriminant. We'll talk about discriminant here, the use of discriminant. Some may call this delta. And delta, we're talking about this friend of mine. Delta equals to b squared minus 4ac. Or you can say that discriminant equals to b squared minus 4ac. You may remember this from the quadratic formula, okay? That is in quadratic formula. So under this nature of roots, we also have got this key aspects. The key aspects. The key aspects here, of which we'll talk about this number one, where they talk about real and equal. Whenever they talk about real and equal, this is where they talk about delta being greater or equals to 0. That's where they talk about delta being greater or equals to 0. So real and equal, delta should be greater or equal to 0. Okay, let's move on to the second one. Here we can talk about a real and unequal. Real and unequal. This is where they talk about delta b greater than 0. Delta b greater than 0, it's real and unequal. So there is also this one, equal roots. Equal roots. So whenever they talk about equal roots, this is where they talk about so whenever they talk about equal roots, that's where they talk about delta b equals to 0. Delta b equals to 0. Remember the delta we're talking about, this friend of mine. Okay, that's the delta. We're talking about that friend of mine. So Let's also remember one thing here. There are also words like rational and irrational. So there are words like rational and irrational. Let me use different color. There are words like rational. So rational, they are talking about uh, any number that can be written in the form of a over b, any number that can be written in the form of a over b. But firstly, you need to check that number after calculating your delta. After calculating your delta, you'll have to check that number inside there. Square root, say this equals to, after checking, say you substitute a there, a could be that number. As you substitute, it will give you x over y. X over y, it means the answer of that number could be written in the form of a over b. Alright, a over b, it means x over y there. Example, say we talk about square root 4. Square root 4, the answer is 2. And we know that 2, we can write 2 over 1. In fact, any number there, the number which is standing alone, you can write it as over 1. Alright? This is where we talk about the perfect squares and perfect cubes. So even this one, square root 16 or square root 9, let me start from square root 9. Square root 9 is 3, and 3 you can write it as 3 over 1. Alright, so all these numbers, if the discriminant equals to 4, then you would say, as you discuss, you will mention the word rational. You will mention the word rational. Even if it's square root 9, you will mention the word rational. So as cube root 8. We know that cube root 8, the answer will be 2. 2, you can write 2 as 2 over 1. That is the same as 2. So even cube root, or yes, even cube root 8, that will be rational. But if you calculate the delta, say you calculate the delta, you get delta, say you get the delta equals to 8. If you place inside the square root, you won't get rational, you'll get irrational, because let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at here. You'll say square root 8. See the answer. The way the answer is 2,828 blah blah blah. You can see that square root 8 you can't write as a over b. So because you can't write as a over b, that will be irrational. So meaning that in short here, you can say, you can exclude this one of 8, but you will talk about any square root number. If you have any square root number to get as a which is a over b, any square root number here, I'm talking about square root 4. Square root 4 is 2, and 2 you can write 2 over 1. Square root 25, you can that's 5 over 1. It means 25. 25 is what? Is a rational number. 4 is a rational number. 9 is a rational number. 16 is a rational number. Even square root 36. Square root 36, the answer will be 6, and 6 you can write as 6 over 1. Alright, that's 36. If you get 36, you will say the number is what? It's a rational number. Square root, because placing that 36 inside the square root, you're bound to get what? 6, and 6 you can write 6 over 1. Meaning that the moment you write as 6 over 1, that tells you that the number is a what? It's a rational. So make sure you remember the rational and irrational. Irrational number, we talk about the vice versa of rational. So if the number is not a rational, obviously it's gonna be irrational. So irrational, say square root of 2. Square root of 2 is an irrational number, because placing inside the square root, you're not going to get the situation where you can write a over b. Instead, if you take back the calculator, we'll say, okay, square root 2 see the answer is 1,414 blah blah blah. It means you can't write as what? You can't write as a over b. You don't get the whole number as the answer. Placing square root, if you have square root 2, you don't get whole number. So because you don't get whole number, then you conclude that the number 2 is a what? It's an irrational number. Because anyway, you need to know how to discuss the nature of roots. Alright? So let me just go and do 2 examples of discussing the nature of roots. We'll see where to go from there. So let's see. Let's go and discuss the nature of roots. Let's go and discuss the nature of roots. Maybe to do some examples here. Number 1, let's have x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals to 0. We shouldn't solve for x, but we're going to discuss the nature of roots. So firstly, you need to outline your a, b, and c. You need to have your a, which is 1, b, which is negative 5, and c, which is negative 3. So now you come to your delta, you substitute, say b squared minus 4ac, and your a there, your b there is what? It's negative 5. Your a there is 1, and your c it's negative 3. And this will be 25 plus 12. And 25 plus 12, that will be 37. So we come to the part of discussing. We'll say because the answer is positive, the roots will be real. Real means we're going to get the answers. And because the delta is not 0, then the roots will be unequal. And because placing 37 inside the square root, you're not going to write, you will get what? The answer is a comma b, c, and blah blah blah. That means the roots, that means the roots will be irrational. That means the roots will be irrational. Okay, so when they say discuss the nature of roots there, that's exactly what you need to do. Okay, let's now move on to example number 2. We're still going to discuss the nature of roots. Given x squared plus x plus 1 equals to 0. Remember, we're not supposed to solve, instead to discuss the nature of roots. Okay, We're not supposed to solve there. So what we're going to do, we need to outline our A. We need to tell what's A, what's B, which is 1, and what's C, positive 1. So B squared minus 4AC equals to B, which is 1, minus 4A C, and that will be equals to negative 3. So the delta now is what? It's negative. So because the delta is negative, then you say roots will be non-real. The roots will be non-real. The roots will be non-real there. Okay. Make sure you understand, guys. Make sure you understand. Let's move on to the third one. What if you are given this x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals to 0? So A there will be 1, B is negative 2, and C there is 1. So delta will be B squared minus 4 AC. B will be negative 2 and minus 4 AC. So this will give us 0. So because delta is 0, you say roots will be real, because having 0, it means we're going to get the answers. Square root 0 is 0, then roots will be rational. And because the delta is 0, you say the roots will be equal. That's it. The roots will be equal. So I'm sure you've seen enough, guys. So next time when we meet, I'm going to make sure that we go and solve. We're going to solve the what? We're going to solve the variables in some situations, under nature of rules. Okay. For now, guys, let me appreciate and say thank you for joining or enjoying the class with me. And until we meet again, guys, do not forget to subscribe and also call your friends to do so that you can learn more with me or with us. Guys, thank you very much. See you then. Sharp.